At Dot & Company, we believe that all agencies deserve amazing account managers and that all of those account managers deserve to be supported, encouraged, and loved on. That's why we started CAM Community, a membership only for account managers. And inside, you'll gain access to the exact training we use to train our own client facing account managers, but also access to all of our SOPs, processes, and live trainings on a variety of topics. If you're an account manager, this is the place you've been waiting for. Learn more at dotandcompany.co/CAM community. Welcome back to the Happy Clients podcast. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you an amazing training that we did for our account managers inside what we call CAM community, which is essentially our community for account managers. And a big topic that we talk a lot about is setting goals as an account manager within the agency every single quarter. Because as an account manager, we are such an important role within not only the client relations, but also the internal team relations and how successful the overall agency is. And we want to be super bought into the goals of the agency itself. So we need to make sure that our goals as the account manager are in alignment with the overall agency's goals. So in this episode, you are going to hear a real training from one of our senior department managers, Jill, talking all about how to set quarterly goals for your agency as an account manager. So let's get into this episode. I'm super excited.
Welcome to the Happy Clients podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to happy clients.
Thank you, Tay. I'm excited to chat about this. I feel like it's very timely right now. Obviously, we're into Q1 and everyone is thinking of the year ahead and sort of getting their goals in a row. So yeah, excited to kind of chat about it from a few perspectives, that agency owner perspective, of course, but also as CAMs. Tay said it best, how can we sort of support those goals? How can we make sure that we're pushing them forward? So in sort of talking about the value that setting goals brings to your team, I think it's important to sort of think if you're the one in the agency owner that seat, if you're the COO, sort of the person that's managing these goals. I'm sure as kind of agency owners, we've all had the thought, okay, sure, we need these goals as a company, but do we really need to share them? Does it need to be a collaborative effort? Does the team need to give input? I've hired the right people to do the jobs that they're best at, and that will help me hit my goals. Is that not enough? But ultimately, no shocker, the answer is no, and we sort of need to think of it in a different way. So there's a few ways that setting goals really brings value to your team. One of those ways is that adaptability piece. So if we have those set goals, when things shift, like client trends, internal factors, things happen in the marketing world and in the real world, and we have to sort of be able to have those goals to return to adjust and pivot to make sure that we're sort of on track as an agency. And then, of course, performance measurement. They're a great measurement for performance for the teams within your agency. Have you hit your quarterly goals, your yearly goals? Are we exceeding those goals on a monthly basis? Do we need to bump them up? Do we need to make them more realistic? So looking at them that way as well. And then, of course, that motivation piece, especially those short-term goals. I think those are really important for your internal team to sort of have those to look to. Of course, we love those long-term, high numbers that we all want to reach as agencies, but I think those little goals are really what help us stay motivated to keep pushing. And then, of course, we cannot have a DOT presentation without talking about client expectations. So I think this is a big one in terms of setting your goals and really thinking about the client landscape. Is summer a really busy time for your agency? Does a lot more tension maybe go into those projects and those clients, and it's maybe launch season, there's a lot happening. So do we need to sort of shift the goals during that time to focus on clients and their experience, not getting lost in that and making sure that we're thinking of the existing clients, the agency as it is, and focusing on that as well. So getting into that, I know that we're talking about sort of quarterly goals, but I think before that, we have to sort of start bigger and think about sort of that 3-year plan. So this is the system that we use here at DOT Scalable, which is similar to like EOS, sort of that system that supports making agency operations, direction, decisions, all of that stuff. So of course, when we hear the word scale, we're all kind of thinking about being able to get into that rapid growth mode. So in order to do that, we need to sort of have those goals in place, those milestones, so that the team can handle that rapid growth. So this is essentially one of those canvases that you can, as an agency owner, fill this out and kind of plan your goals for the next 3 years, and sort of make sure that you're on track. And then we can break it down kind of into those smaller quarterly planning. So something that we do here at DOT is we have our quarterly sprint planning canvas that we run through 4 times a year, every quarter. And this is sort of where we plan our goals for the year. So I snatched this one sort of from our Q1 for this year, but to sort of start, we're always looking at those North Star metrics. So essentially, those are the metrics that your agency is going to use as a focus for your growth. So thinking of what is critical in terms of your long-term success. So for example, easy one, Airbnb's North Star metric is nights booked. That's their ultimate goal. That's what they're looking to achieve. Maybe you have an e-commerce business and your metric is something like the lifetime value of a customer. That's the most important thing to you as an agency. So focusing on those things, what are sort of those main components that are really important and are going to drive success for your agency. So again, we sort of set out these meetings. We talk together as a team. We look at the quarter in review. What happened? What were our goals? What did we miss? What did we nail? What do we need to work on for the next quarter? And sort of in planning these canvases, we look at those kind of major functions in your agency. So for us, that's agency operations, agency ops and sales, how they work together, and then sales as well. So in order to sort of facilitate those goals in those different departments, we need to kind of look at what are the actual physical initiatives that we're going to do in order to get there. So for example, one of the sort of things that we identified in our planning in December was that we're noticing that people are not sort of jumping and opening their email as much as they used to. That used to be a really easy way to reach agency owners, people, CAMs, all of that stuff. But we're sort of having to shift our thinking to, okay, maybe we need to meet them somewhere else. Maybe it's Instagram, maybe it's sending those little special gifts and touches. So in order to sort of get that relationship back on track, we're looking at things like revisiting our gifting strategy internally and practicing what we preach in terms of that. So sort of having those physical goals in place. One of our goals on the DOT team is always to sort of have support for our CAMs and make sure that we're really creating a community culture. So doing things like having a social committee, that was sort of born out of this planning session as well. So kind of looking at those pillars and how we're going to get there. And then once you sort of start to fill in those pillars, you start to see a theme emerge. So our theme for the year, we had a busy quarter last year, and we sort of had realized that through that, we really had grown stronger as a team, being able to lean on each other, look to each other for support. And so our motto and mantra was stronger together. So we're sort of heading into this quarter with that plan. But sort of the thought behind this is that everybody is moving through the quarters with those North Star metrics in mind. We're revisiting those on a weekly basis, and we're really sort of focusing on those goals. So with that being said, where does the CAM role come into all of this? So of course, agencies have their goals, and we're sort of the ones operating as the glue within the agency. So we have our hand in everything: project management, onboarding, accounting, invoicing, all of that stuff. And so we really have a good understanding of how the agency is functioning and whether or not these goals are realistic. So of course, as CAMs, like I said, we have a deep understanding of client needs, industry trends, all of those shifts. I think we've all had moments as CAMs where we sit back and we go, hang on, there's something that I'm noticing here with clients. It seems like all clients are sort of wanting to reduce their ad spend or change up their creative, or I'm feeling a hesitancy from a lot of clients on this. And I think we need to sort of really listen to those trends and use that to inform the goal setting for sure. And then again, as kind of the glue, like I said, we know what's realistic and what's not. And we want the internal team to be motivated to reach their goals. So if we feel like a goal is maybe too big, too far out, then we're going to want to communicate that to our agency owner, make sure that it's realistic for everyone on the team, for sure. And then this is a biggie, and I think where we really come in as CAMs, and it's being able to build the systems and processes that support achieving those goals. So if one of the goals is maybe something super simple like better supporting clients, what do we need in order to do that? Do we need maybe a weekly stand-up meeting where we're all connecting with each other so we're really in the know on projects and what's happening? Do we need to sort of strengthen the onboarding process? Looking at those systems and how we can sort of fix them definitely falls within our role. And then I think another one is thinking outside of the day-to-day. Of course, this can be tricky because we're very much living in those day-to-day comms. We're the ones emailing, on the video calls, all that stuff. But I think even as CAMs handling those tasks, it's important to sort of step outside of that and really think about the functions of your role and how you can propel the agency forward. Ultimately, sort of being that account manager, you're holding those relationships with clients, but you're also freeing up maybe more senior members on the team to be able to focus on things like business growth and development. So what are the ways that you can sort of help the team to grow as an agency and sort of focus on those functions? So another sort of way that we can do that as CAMs, and something that we do internally at DOT as well, is we have sort of a bit of a quarterly review. So this is something that I think can be shared with your agency owner as a CAM, but you can also keep it to yourself and kind of use it as a guide. But I think, again, it's really important to sort of review the quarters so the years don't fly by and everything kind of mixes into one. So this is one of the ways that we do that. This is a little bit small, hard to see, but I'll share a template in the community so you can use this if you'd like. But essentially, looking at the quarter in review, how have we identified any gaps in the agency? How have we fixed them? What sort of were the significant projects that we worked on? What were those big wins? What were the things that went really well, that we did really well? And then what are our goals for the next quarter as CAMs? So sort of setting yourself up for success and being able to step into the next quarter ready to go. So that's sort of the essence of kind of setting those quarterly goals from the agency owner perspective, from the CAM perspective. Does anyone have any questions?
That was great, Jill. I think it's really important for us as account managers to keep this in mind, because the more that we can kind of join forces with the agency owner or the senior leaders and say, like, listen, I want to help grow this business with you and help grow the agency and make things better, just the more seamless things are, but also it makes you look like you're doing a great job. And we all want to feel like we're doing a great job. So use these templates. If you're not doing quarterly sprints with the agency owners, that's an awesome opportunity to go above and beyond and say, look, I would love to sit down and kind of crush out what this could look like for the quarter together and see how I can help. Because I know every business owner will love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think especially for agency owners that maybe, are really focusing on that growth phase. Of course, maybe they're on the sales calls, they're trying to sort of look at ways that they can grow their business. And it's helpful to sometimes take a step back and also kind of be in touch with the agency. If they're not as much in the day-to-day, you can sit down with them and say, hey, these are the things that I think need to happen in order for us to get there. We need to have this on the team. We need to sort of build these structures, and I'm willing to help you get there. So I think that's important too.
And that's a wrap on today's podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed that training from Jill, setting quarterly goals for the agency, and that you took a couple of nuggets away. If you want to enroll your account manager into CAM Community, head over to dotandcompany.co/CAM Community, and we'll see you in there.
Cheers to happy clients.